Hello, Judith here. And today I thought I'd share with you one of the reasons, it's a big reason, but one of the reasons why I do what I do. And it stems, as is often the case, not quite from early childhood, but certainly from early teenagerhood. I had a very happy childhood, and so when my dad was very ill, life-threateningly ill, it came as a bit of a shock. And he was taken from the local hospital to a large hospital. And my mum went and stayed a couple of nights while he had major surgery. And he was beginning to recover. And then, for whatever reason, and we never knew, a nurse gave him an injection that was 10 times too strong. And he very nearly died. When he came round, pretty much all of the senior doctors in the hospital were around his bed, obviously. I don't know, waiting to see what happened or thinking about what they were going to do. But anyway, and I was old enough to be aware of the discussions going on with some legal advice as to what to do about this. And the advice was, don't do anything. And this made me really angry, as only a 12 or 13-year-old can be angry. It made me really angry that there would be no justice. There would be no action. There would be no way of preventing this from happening to somebody else. And as with a lot of people in this kind of situation, that there was no apology. You know, if they'd just said, we're really sorry, this shouldn't have happened and we're going to do X, Y, Z in the future to stop it happening again. But of course, that leaves them open to legal challenges. So it didn't happen. And in the middle of all of this, I sat an exam and did badly and got publicly humiliated by a teacher. Just led me to the conclusion that, I suppose this was my first real realisation that life genuinely wasn't fair. People could be treated unjustly and people can be left very unsupported. And so this led to my tendency to support the underdog, the people that nobody else would help. And the most significant example of this came towards the end of my corporate career when I supported a friend who confided in me that she was being sexually harassed by our manager. And I continued to support her when she made, after a long time and a lot of thought, the decision to report it to HR, who promptly suspended her and left him in place. So she then again had to make a really hard decision to not stop but to take legal action. And obviously, I was going to support her in this because this was another example of injustice. So she ended up in an industrial tribunal. I was her main witness, and we had to sit and listen to people lying because other people in the department had been bullied into being a witness for the manager. And it was a very unpleasant experience. And of course, sexual harassment can be very difficult to prove. I didn't witness anything. What I experienced was her sobbing as she told me what had happened after each of the incidents. But we won. And we won mainly because the company failed to abide by its own policies or even the law. So, if you like, we won on a technicality. So some kind of justice was done, but it was done for the wrong reasons. And there was no subsequent support for any of us, particularly her or anybody else who'd been involved, which was effectively the whole department. And many people had been badly affected by this. And my final memory of this experience was having a chat with the new manager and asking him what he was going to do about the aftermath, the state that this had left individuals and the whole department in. And his response was, it's all in the past and everybody should just forget about it. So that, I think, finalised my hugely strong, passionate desire to help those who are unsupported. And I am deeply passionate about helping my clients many of whom feel very alone, very frightened. If they're suffering from anxiety and depression, it seems that everybody else is okay. Everybody else is coping, and no one understands what they're going through. And they get the impression, or they believe themselves, that it's all their fault. They're weak. They're unable to cope. Whereas in fact, what's happening is they're suffering from an illness. They're suffering from a mental illness, but it's a hidden illness. And because of the name anxiety, people think about it in terms of, oh, I was a bit anxious about that interview or that presentation. But suffering from clinical anxiety is a very, very different thing. So I am committed to do absolutely everything in my power to help those who are suffering from the crippling effects of anxiety and the depression that often goes with it. And I make a personal commitment to every single client that I will do my absolute best to help them to get their life back. So that's why I do what I do. And that's a little bit of the history that led me to doing this. And I suppose the other main reason why I do it is I'm passionate about the cause, but I'm more passionate about the people. And it's an honour and an amazing thing to be able to do, to help people to, as I say, get their life back, or get back the joy in their life. Okay, thank you very much for listening and watching. Hello, James. Nice to see you there. And I will leave you now until I'm back again. And as always, stay safe, stay well, and take good care of yourself. Bye.